Our final presenter will be Gabe Candee, and Gabe is at Carlisle High School in Carlisle, and he is the son of Lori and Kent Candee. And the title of his presentation is Lean on Me Service Project. Gabe, welcome.
All right. Well, good morning. Either that or it's afternoon. I'm not quite sure. I'll figure it out. All right. So, hello. My name is Gabe Candee, and I'm here to present the Lean on Me Service Project, inspired by the Herbert Hoover Uncommon Student Award. I wanted to put a quote from Hoover into action before I start. Those who help themselves ought to be helped. And this is in regards to the Wilmington College speech in November of 1948. So I've gone on several mission trips to the Appalachian Mountains to make homes warmer, safer, and drier. I've come back home to see that families in our own community had many of the same problems with their homes and difficulty with fixing those problems. Things that may seem small can become big safety issues. Many people do their own repairs, but some get to a point where that's not quite possible. It can be very expensive also, and it's very hard to get the professionals to come do the small jobs. Lastly, often citizens have trouble finding the help they need. Another thing I would often see is that many people like me would like to help others, volunteer, but they aren't able to go on a big mission trip. Some don't even have the tools or don't feel skilled enough, but mostly they don't know who to help and what services they need. So I created the Lean on Me Service Project. I wanted to match home repair with willing volunteers. My main objectives being to provide a way for people to keep their homes safe without a big bill attached, and provide a way for those who want to volunteer to have that opportunity, much like Hoover did through his humanitarian efforts. My hope was not only to provide a service and opportunity, but also to promote positive feeling throughout the community that would hopefully be contagious. I started a to-do list to advertise, find volunteers, and also find the work. I set up a phone number and email specifically for the Lean on Me to communicate with the volunteers and homeowners. I made signs with tear-off information to put them around town, created cards to hand out, put articles in the newspaper, and distributed information to churches, all to help better advertise and promote my project. So my first Lean on Me project was for Frank and Janet from my local church. They were great supporters of my previous volunteering and were the first to ask for assistance. They told me that they had a back door frame that was becoming unsafe and a shed that was being worn down from weathering. It was hard for them to ask for assistance since they had always done the work themselves. Unfortunately, however, their health had put a dramatic stop to that. They insisted that they should pay for the work after our work was done, that they were so thankful for it, even though I stressed to them that this was a volunteer project and there is no charge. Since I wouldn't take payment, however, they made a very generous donation to the mission trip that I go on each year. Frank and Janet were the perfect first project that provided just the encouragement I needed to continue. I had several other projects that went very well. They included power washing, trimming bushes, painting, changing light bulbs in hard-to-reach places, and other small tasks. The latest project, however, was Jeannie's home. Her project represents exactly why I envisioned my project. She had the most extensive job, and her story inspired me in many ways. She purchased an older home, and she and her father worked to update it and make it livable for her son, who was confined to a motorized wheelchair. Her father passed away very suddenly, and her health has prevented her from continuing to be able to do the updates on her own. She was able to replace most of the windows in her house, but not the decorative windows in the roof dormers or in the garage. Lean on Me was asked to reglaze, trim, scrape, prime, paint, and caulk them to make them more energy efficient. We found a volunteer who was very professional at installing doors and decided that he could install a side door to the garage for absolutely free. To be able to give all of this labor to Jeannie was absolutely a true blessing. She gives so much time and love to her family members who are struggling with multiple very serious health issues. So it was an incredible feeling to be able to give to such an amazing lady. I'm sure that she would have loved to be able to do all the work herself, but in letting us help her, she has given us a gift. I hope that with all the little things we finished up for her, she finds her home warmer, safer, and drier this year. This picture up here is showing my youngest volunteer with his dad painting. His dad approached us after hearing about the project and wanted to give his son a volunteer experience, which was helping others through service. This just goes to show me and others that volunteerism is important to all ages. Obstacles. My experience certainly had some obstacles. Typically, these obstacles would come out of nowhere and make a huge impact. Some examples of these obstacles are weather. Almost all the projects were outside, so Mother Nature definitely had a huge impact and decision on where and when we can do our projects. Another one is finding projects. Most of my projects came from people who I was acquainted with, or by word of mouth. Unfortunately, however, many older people are very afraid of being scammed, and by sounding the project the project sounded very too good to be true to many of them. As the project grows by word of mouth, however, projects are coming up more and more each week. Scheduling. Finding common times for the job crew leader that oversees the project and the volunteers were tough, especially for the youth. For the youth had all their other activities that they are involved in, such as sports and other athletics. My health. The last thing is certainly a big one. I suffered a concussion last October, and though I've gotten better since then, I'm still not back to normal. I realized this last spring, and in an effort to improve, I took classes and did therapy all summer, which definitely took quite an impact on how I'm able to volunteer. So it's been determined that I have frontal lobe impairment from my concussion, along with frontal lobe impairment. So the frontal lobe impairment affects my cognition, organizational abilities, memory, and many other things that are very important to make my project run very smoothly. This means that everything I did took a lot more time, work, and effort than it normally would have. And this is also why I'm very relying on my notes today to make sure that I leave nothing out. These obstacles certainly frustrated me, for sure, but they also taught me perseverance. Great challenges followed by great successes made a lot of ups and downs. And I can tell you that it was all worth it. More than the actual successes of each job was the great feelings that were created by the satisfied homeowners and volunteers. So all the summer projects have been successfully completed. While it was very hard to schedule everyone came together to do an amazing job. I can say with confidence that each homeowner got the best top quality work that we can, and each was extremely thankful for our project. I can also say that each volunteer was touched by the act of helping their fellow citizens, and I think that they will continue with Lean on Me. These accomplishments were my biggest goals for the project, and I'm proud to say that they were definitely accomplished. The continuation of Lean on Me Service Project is confirmed. The Carlisle United Methodist Church has been a great supporter of my project. When I offered one of the committees the opportunity to take over the project, they were thrilled to accept. The Now Committee will use my signs, cards, phone number, email, and volunteer list that I created for the project. And I will help out whenever and however I can. When I look at my project now, I see Herbert Hoover written all over it. I know about Hoover as a president, however, I never knew about him as a humanitarian. I've enjoyed learning about his true love and ideas on volunteerism and the American spirit, as those speeches shows true passion for all humanity. His ideas on volunteerism reminds me of one of his inspiring quotes, in which he tells us that we should celebrate those who act for others. And I realize now that that was the point of this service project. The project was an opportunity to set out and explore volunteering, the very thing Hoover taught us to do. One thing Hoover stressed to us more than anything was that volunteerism should be a necessity, and from it, I believe we can all be uncommon. I hope I've helped to inspire more uncommon students in Carlisle Live. Thank you for providing this amazing opportunity. It has certainly been a great challenge, but an incredible honor. I feel very blessed and thankful to be a part of the Herbert Hoover Uncommon Student Program.
So Gabe, these were all outside summer projects. Do you have any plans to continue? Will the church continue this during the winter, maybe doing indoor things, or will it remain a summertime outside project?
It's a good question. So the Now Committee is willing to have all the projects being taken to them. So they will oversee any of the projects that are involved with Lean on Me. And so the question of winter, I'm not quite sure, because that is totally up to them, and what they see fit, I trust, is the right thing to do.
Okay, for any materials that you needed to purchase, how was that funded?
So actually, we didn't even take a lot of funding. Any of the supplies, such as paint, was provided by the homeowners, and all the tools were provided by volunteers, along with all the labor.
Okay, well, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.